Welcome everyone, and this is my channel on YouTube, and I'm Zephy Davy. And today we have Songbird grandmother with us again. Welcome, Songbird. How are you? How are you doing? You doing
I'm
good?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. And we just, I just saw this totem that she has behind her, and it's the Toltec totem that is connected to Omex, which is from the Eastern Islands, and then it came to the Toltecs, and then it came to the Aztecs, as we know, in the Mexico area. But this is an incredible time because I just finished a video on the eclipse, and now she's going to talk about this Toltec calendar that is about this eclipse, but actually the eclipse, as you told me, is actually the 15th of May, correct? According to the calendar. So we have so much to share, and maybe we're not going to explain you the whole calendar, but we're going to explain you the energy about the calendar, and you can just kind of feel it because, as we said, the eclipses last for a long time. They last even for 6 months. So having that another eclipse on the 16th, it will be, which we having anyway, it's going to be amazing. So let's go for it. Songbird, tell me. I'm so excited.
Okay. Well, this first eclipse is the partial solar eclipse, right? And it is the new moon, the dark moon. So it's all about what we're ready to seed in our life, what we're ready to plant in our life. And most people right now are in a state of transition. So whether they're moving, ending something, right about to beginning something, there's a lot of change happening right now, right? And so this is our opportunity for new beginnings. And this powerful cycle we're in from the April 30th to May 15th, where we will have a full lunar eclipse, so that's a lot of feminine energy, is about planting that seed, nurturing that seed, and really laying the direction going forward. So we call it like putting your arrow, where do you want to shoot your arrow going forward, the direction, and that direction can only come from deep within yourself. So the Totem Kuali is all about transformation and how to use the cycles of nature to become your best self. And so it's like a whole path.
It's interesting that everything is coming up in the right timing because there's so many different, aspects of the calendar, and in different parts of the world, we change it and we really feel it differently. And I don't mean the energy, but I mean, we experience it differently because it's, in the West is a different way of doing the full moons or the new moons and the eclipses and the new eclipses. And it's only 4 eclipses a year, but they're so powerful no matter what. And now having the Toltec calendar, to me, it's amazing because I'm very fascinated about the Mayan calendar, and I started it for long, I kind of studied it, and specifically the 2012 that everybody was saying that, the world is finishing or the calendar is finishing, but then everybody was going, the world's going to finish, too, because there's no more calendar. But as you said, the Toltecs do not end. That calendar never ends, which is amazing that way. And like the Western calendar never ends, correct?
Yeah, as long as the cycles of nature continue, the calendar continues, and it's a circular calendar, so it just goes in a circle. So that means like patterns repeat, and that's how we understand the energies and the archetypes of what we're working with, because they repeat. So right now,
repeated, what you're saying, like as the circle goes, but can the repetition change? Like, can you become like we're in the lower parts and then we can go in the upper parts, which is the higher energies? Because I think a lot of calendars, or in astrology, we kind of say that below the whatever we call it, and then upper. So
yeah, there's the short count and then the long count.
Okay.
So the short count is like every 20 days, and then the long count can go like 26,000 years. So there's the inner parts of the circle, and then there's the outer parts of the circle, and it's a never-ending path. There's always more to learn, and it's a path. But it also talks about like there's a face behind, in the center of it. That's the time we're living in right now. And so the time we're living in right now is the time where you really have to watch your words, because words are swords. And we noticed that, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
about being very conscious about what you say and what you do, because we're living in the time where the mouth is a sword.
I want to get back a little bit to the 26 years that you're talking about, because that's also, I just talked about it in my previous videos. In Santorini, we have the 26,000 years that is an end, you know, and then we go to a new world. So do you
Yeah.
feel that's coming up according to the Toltec calendar?
Yes,
You
we have
you feel we're coming to that end?
two cycles that are ending. The one is the long count, and then
Hmm.
we have the short count, which is the 52-year cycle is ending. So by
Simultaneously, the both are ending.
yeah,
Wow.
2024, we're in the new fire, and that's when the new 52-year cycle will, and that's for our lifetime, right? And then the
Mhm.
26,000-year cycle is like a bigger thing. But they also talk about a 5,000-year cycle that we're heading into. So it's almost like all these cycles and cycles and cycles. And then if you go to the teachings in India, it's the Kali Yuga, right? The ending. So we kind of know universally we're in an ending.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're in an ending of this old world. And then according to this calendar, the beginning of the feminine world. So the next world is going to be the midnight sun. And the midnight sun is about the feminine energy coming back, or the ancient magic. So that feminine energy that's coming back is inside of you, because that's what they talk about. With outside of you is like what we're in now,
Mhm.
you know, the
So this
time.
is the outer world that we'll be living in, and now we're going to go into the inner world. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. And so even if you think about technology and everything, that's a gateway to go in,
Hmm. Hmm.
because you're not so much concerned with the outer world. So, and then it goes, I mean, if you look at all the indigenous and ancient practices, it talks about this time of how we have to go in.
Yes.
All the answers are here, not there, and everything in the outside world is chaotic and a mess, because it's the answers aren't there. And if we keep looking for the answers out there, we will keep hitting roadblocks, because the answers are not there, they're in here. And so that's the time of the feminine, and that's why the feminine energy is rising up on our planet, because we're heading into the feminine time.
Yeah. I had a message too, that we're going from, the whatever is inside is going to be the outer, like the change. So the outer is going to go away, and then we're going to go into the inner. I had that message actually a few days ago, and it was very powerful to now connect it to the calendar, correct? To now understand what actually happening universally with the calendars. I mean, I love the ancient calendars. I believe more in the ancient calendars than I believe in the new calendar, I have to tell you. So when you were talking, again, I get chills all over my body about so much of the confirmation, because that's what it means to me. So what else you have to tell us? I'm so excited about this energy coming up. So for the 16th, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so this is the time to do rituals and ceremony and inner contemplation and reflection, hiking, anything you can do to connect to your inner self, meditation, and think about where have you been, what is going on in your life, and then now what direction are you headed in? Where do you want to put your energy into? What do you want to get rid of? Because this eclipse is going to clear out a lot of old stagnant energy. That's what eclipses do. And according to our calendar, the energy will either lead you to your misfortune or your fortune. And that's why we do all the rituals now, because we want to push that energy to the next star, to the next level, versus, staying stagnant and stuck and spiraling down.
Saying if we don't do this inner work and this inner process, we might just stay stagnant and get shut down in a sense and continue the old way. And then now we need to put more energy in what we want to create, how we can go forward, what can we see in our lives, and what we want to create, how we want to see our lives going.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. So you believe that can happen from now, well, with the new eclipse, which is the eclipse, I think had happened on the 30th. Now we can go like that through the 15th, from the 30th to the 15th, correct?
Yeah. And also like your dreams, pay attention to the dream world, you know, write down anything in the dream world, any dream you get, especially around those two doorways of the 30th to like the 5th, and then to the 15th, because the energies of the moon starts about 4 days before and it ends 4 days after. You're going to feel those energies, and the strongest connection we have is usually with the dream world. So our ancestors would do a lot of dream work around this time. We do dream planting, which is where we put a seed in our dreams
Mhm.
and what we would like to manifest.
You know, it's interesting because the ancient Greeks used to do that too, that they will heal themselves through the dream time. Asclepius was a big one on that. He will do the ceremonies and the cleansing, and then he'll put everybody in the room with sound and make them fall asleep. And the next morning he will explain, they will tell him their dreams, and he will explain it to see what the process of the healing was. So you see, all the ancient worlds really had a knowledge that we have forgotten. To me, that's so, you know, so amazing. That's why I always felt that I called my, you know, my healing thing ancient healing, since I started in Sedona 30 years ago. And I want to continue with this because I think the ancient world is coming back up, is showing up. It took 30 years, but hey, it doesn't matter, correct?
It took thousands of years. I remember when I first began on this journey, I read a book that said the time of the feminine was coming back. And at that time, there was no clue of a feminine anywhere. Like, I was like, she is where she at. And then now you can see it, like you said, 30 years later, you know, who knows how long later, we see her coming back up. And actually, according to the calendar, the ancient feminine didn't come back until the winter solstice of 2021.
Wow. So she just showed up like almost a year ago. Like a year ago.
Yeah, the return of what they call the ancient magic, the Malinali energy.
I love that.
And so a lot of women probably especially felt that energy coming back, because it's the balance that we need, because we just headed into that midnight sun. And this year, it really is connected to that midnight sun. And it's really about the time of midnight to like sunrise. That's like the most potent time to do anything at this time. Your rituals, your dream time work, anything is going to be happening during that time.
You know, in Hinduism, when you work with the goddess, you really work at night, and specifically that's our time, is from 12 to the morning, because that's when she's more powerful, and that's when she's alive, and that's when we do all the work. You know, all our rituals or our ceremonies connecting with her. It's that time. So
yeah.
And so where do you think we're going with this with these eclipses and this new energy that we got into this year? What do you think we're going into?
Well,
well, that's a lot to talk about.
We got a lot of work to do.
I agree.
You know what it is like this year in general, because it's the 10 rabbit year, is really about your inner work, creativity to solve your problems. And I had this like thought today about how we have to reconnect to the cycles of moon. We have to. That's the key to getting through and knowing when to begin something, when to end something, when to readjust something. And I think we put a lot of emphasis on new moons and full moons, but actually one of the most powerful times that our ancestors would work with the moon was during the crescent moon.
Yeah.
Was that when it was like, you know, just showing up, that sleeve? That was like what they said was one of the most important times. And there was a lot of connection with Venus as well, especially around dreamtime work. And that's the feminine energy. So there's like a lot of things that when we reconnect to the ancient cycles of nature, and you know, you can see her, you can see the moon, you can see the planets, you know, you can see those things. So they're very tangible. So that when you connect to that calendar, no matter what the, you know, Roman calendar is saying, we still know what time it is.
Yes.
You know, we don't
absolutely.
get confused. And we say, oh, okay, this is the time I do this ritual. This is the time I do this ritual. Oh, okay, that's why this isn't working out, because I want to put all my power and energy into the cosmic cycle so that what I'm putting out is like amplified.
So, as above, so below, correct? When you put something out there, it will come back to you. And that's what our spiritual work should be. And when we work with the 13 grandmothers like you do, and we work with the 13 moons, and that's part of our life. And, 13 moons, people don't believe them, but there are times that we have 2 moons in a month. I mean, like, right now, correct? This is the month that we have, 2 moons in a sense. We had the beginning, we had the middle, and then we have the end. So there's 13 moons if we count it. But I think people kind of forget it, that if they get into the practice, they will realize it. And also the crescent moon for us is in the Vedic and the, in the Hindu, when we do the work, is the darkest night before she gets into that crescent. And that's very potent for us also when you work with the goddess. It's a very potent time.
Yeah, that dark moon, that new moon before she peeps up is one of the most potent times. And that's the time you want to go in.
Yes.
That's the real time you really want to connect within yourself. And, women are usually given that time in a month, with the menstrual cycle. We have like at least a week or so, of that energy where you're supposed to go in. But, and we'd have moon lodges and all that good stuff. But now in this day, we forget. We have to like consciously remind ourselves that, and so I think that's why the new moon and knowing the cycles of the moon is important, because then you remind yourself, oh, it's my time to go in. I need to do my work now, because then I can manifest, I can get clear on what I need to do, and then I can make action, at the right time.
And the red tent is similar to that, like the moon lodges. We have the red tent in the ancient times, and then the moon lodges that we do as women. And I done plenty of them. I'm sure you do. And it's the whole time that you need to stay in the lodge for the whole time and take care of yourself. And it's only for you. So yeah, we have forgotten that, but I think humanity is going to go back to that. And also, if a woman's body follows the moon cycles, she's actually more, she heals, okay, first of all, but she's also more ready to do whatever she needs to do in the world, because her body follows that cycle, and she's really connected because the moon is feminine. So, wow, but this is amazing. I'm so glad that, we needed to talk about this and to talk about the energy that is coming up all the way to the 16th. Because that will be powerful for us as women and as men. It's not, I don't think the calendar should be only for women. The 13 grandmothers, I think, is also available for men if they want to follow the cycle, because they feel it. I think men feel the cycle. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And this is not a masculine and feminine thing. It's a balance. They talk about the masculine and feminine energies. And there are so many pathways in the calendar, because part of the calendar, it's like an astrology calendar too, is that you're born on a day.
Yes.
In ancient times, you were named the day you were born on. So like for me, I was born on a Malanali day. So I would be Malanali. That would be my name. And then
I'd like to know my name, because I don't have the calendar in front of me.
Yeah, we'd have to look it up. But like once you know your day, then people would know who you are and what your path is too, and they could best support it. So it's like a very community thing where, we knew, oh, she's Malinali. So that means she's going to be somebody who works with herbs and things, like a medicine woman. That's actually the day.
Oh, like you're not. No.
Yeah, and so they would know that, and then they would know your gifts and talents, and they would know where to put you in society, like where you fit. So everybody had a place, because the calendar gave a place to everybody. So some people, like, with the rabbit, it's about practice too. And that's what this year is going to revolve around, is practice. So like whatever your craft is, whatever your practice is like, keep practicing it.
You know, it's very interesting because in the Western society, what we all have decided to do is to the kids, not in my place or yours, because we decided not to do the typical stuff. Either they need to be married, or they need to be doctors, or they need to be lawyers, or they need to be this, or they need to be that. And none of that, you know, how many more lawyers do we need? How many more doctors do we need? How many, all that society, we need everybody in the earth to be connected with everybody. Of course, we need the lawyers, and we need everything. And I think the calendar, what you're saying, gives that. And then when you go to be supported, what you actually are, you know, then you're not misled when you're little to go become that, but you actually something else, you know? So I think that's so amazing also to have that energy and to have that connection.
Yeah, and to have the community support.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like a Malinali in our day and age is not a supported role. Like, you know, it's not, you know, it's not something like, yeah, you know, rally around that, you know, but these other roles, yeah.
It's Greek. When I decided to do this work and to be a healer, I was a witch. So, you know.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Oh, you're a witch, you're a this, you're that, you know, and it's like something to be feared, right?
Yes, yes.
But and then there's other paths on here that are like governor or politician. But the thing is you're born with something. Everybody's born with something, and the calendar will tell you this is what you're born with, like your gift, right?
Yeah.
But it's up to you to take that gift to the up, you know, to the top levels. Like you can say, oh yeah, I have this gift, and sit on it and not develop it, or you can like keep going for it. And that's your responsibility though. So
Well,
it's like,
you know,
given it, but you got to work it.
like in my situation, you know, and I don't need to talk, but I think everybody will understand it, is when I was young, my family wanted me to be in a different path, in a different way. That's their idea. And then when I, you know, that I remember when I was 9 years old, I had the gift of really, like you did, for us to do other things in the spiritual path. But then our parents kind of take that away because it's not good, is we're not supposed to be, you know, we both probably very intuitive when we were young. And now we had to take a chance to do it ourselves. And if you're in the path, the universe will actually show you that you need to be on that path. It will do, no matter what you do, you can go the other way. You would definitely get on the path, because, and then if you don't listen, that's a different story. But if you listen and open up, and I think you're right, this is what the energy is now. It's showing us where we need to be, who we are. This is the next whole year, I think. And then it's up to us to take it and, you know, take the bulls by the horn, as we say in America, in Texas, and then we can just go, correct? And just go do it.
And go for it. And then everything lines up. You know, the thing about this ancient wisdom is that when it's time for you to know it, it shows up.
Yep.
It's amazing like that. It's like she's hidden, but when she's ready to be revealed, she shows up, but you have to work for it too.
And you have to listen.
Yeah,
you have to follow the signs. Yeah.
You have to follow. And you know what we always say with spiritual work is like, many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah.
Because the spirits choose you, you don't choose them.
I agree.
You know, all the clients you get and everything, that's a spiritual calling. They're called. And it's through the spirits everything works. So when we understand that, you know, we understand we're really not doing anything.
No, just trust and go. We just actually surrender, trust, and go.
Yeah, okay, I don't know how this is working out, but oh no. You know, but when you understand the foundation, like, oh, okay, that's why this is going on. Oh, this is the eclipse. That's why everything's crazy, you know. Oh, okay, you know, and then it kind of makes you like understand, and then you know what to do. Because sometimes if you want to push something and it's the wrong time, all those universal forces will just slap you in the face.
That's true. And it wouldn't work for you, or it will kick you out, or it would do whatever it needs to do for you not to do what you want. And then you go, oh my God, I'm so depressed. You know, there's another obstacle in my life. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that there is not that obstacle. The obstacle comes in for you to actually fight it and just wait for the next one and give yourself another opportunity, because that moment, it wasn't the correct opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest thing, because we get so attached to this one thing we want, and it's like, oh, I really want to be a doctor, but I'm a psychic. You know, it just
Yes,
it's not
agree.
gonna work out. We could be the psychic doctor, but
I agree. So it's anyway, I just want to say that Songbird grandmother is going to be at the Women Rising, that we're going to have the International Summit, and she's going to have a lot more to talk about. And if you guys are interested, we'll have all the information underneath, and also the information to connect with her. But we're so excited to have you this time. I'm so excited to have you and to share this information. And when we do the Women's Summit, you know, the International Women Rising Summit, I think we're going to have so much more information to talk about. We're going to have like an hour that they're just going to help a lot of people through. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much again, Songbird. And I really, really love our conversations. They're amazing. Namaste, everyone.